everyone, Sean here again from MakeFest, and we are back for our second session of the day, part of Halton MakeFest 2021. As usual, we have our usual cohort with us, so let's go around the Halton MakeFest team first. So we have Paul on comments today. So Paul is going to be reading all your comments, so please make sure you get in telling us where you are from, how you found out about it, if you're enjoying it. Don't let us know if it's rubbish, just let us know all the positive things that you want to send through. Any questions and things like that, we'd love to hear them. Next up, we have controlling everything, Ian Pye on the big buttons. Here he is. That's a glorious angle, isn't it, right there? Ian's really set himself up with a nice one. Ian's controlling all the wizardry, so if anything goes wrong, technically you can blame him. And I don't know if we can get Andy on any of the shots, but walking around, we can at least show his camera angle maybe, but we've got Andy, who is our man with a camera who's going around, who's showing us everything that's going on today. So that's us all introduced, but the real people here, the main stars, we have a place for us. So we have Chris and Kate. Hi guys, how's it going?
Hi. Yeah, great. Thanks for inviting us. We're really excited to be here.
No problem. Thanks very much for coming down. So a place for us. Tell us a little bit more. What do you guys do?
What do we do? Well, we are we're a CIC, a performing arts CIC based in Halton, and we've been working for many years as various organisations. And then last year we came together as a place for us CIC, where we basically want to create world-class theatre for young people and professionals working together in Halton.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've known about you two both from loads of different organisations, been around Halton for many years doing great work, and as you say, it's great that you've set up a new organisation to combine a lot of the things that you do, and a CIC, a community interest company, brilliant as well, everything going back to the community and yeah, showing all that great work that you've been doing. So I'm sure, like many of us that are working in the creative industry, this year has been a bit of a challenge for you guys. How have you responded? Because obviously a very audience-based, physical product and team. Yeah, how has it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, the whole industry at the moment is really struggling, and I think, like a lot within the industry, we took the time to do a couple of things to think about what we could plan for the future when finally we can get out there. So it's been, in some ways, it's been very refreshing to have some thinking time to be able to plan, think about new ideas. And then we also did what a lot of people are doing. We've done some blended stuff, so we've been doing some online stuff. We've created a couple of online video things. We've moved our Saturday morning Performing Arts Academy online. And we're doing it that way. So those are kind of just a taster really of a few of the things that we've done during lockdown. And
in the little gap in between where we were allowed out for a bit, we did do a live performance at Christmas, a professional performance at Christmas of Christmas Carol, and then before that we had our academy live for a little while, and then we locked down again. So we've been in and out, as you know yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a proper adaptable flexibility is the key, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say I remember seeing some of the socially distanced sessions that you were doing when we were in tears and things like that. It's been such a crazy year. It's hard to think back about all the ways that we've had to like redevelop it and go around. And I have seen some of the posts online for your, I think it's your Saturday morning one you were doing on Zoom. Loads of brilliant images and young people getting involved in trying to be creative. Yeah.
Do you know what I think that's been a really key thing throughout all of this. I mean, we all know that performing arts is at its best when it's people in the same room doing it, but it's been so difficult, I think, for young people throughout lockdown. There's been a lot of mental health issues, and the performing
people being
arts
lonely, as well. Kids being lonely and a bit bogged down, I think, as well.
Yeah, and it's just been amazing to be able to provide something where we've had them. They've been turning up week after week.
It's been amazing, actually.
And some of the things we did, you did a piece of work called the Lockdown Diaries.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
So we did the Lockdown Diaries back in the first lockdown. Which was people creating drama online with our drama tutor Chris Brett, who's amazing. And then we decided to do it again. We got some funding from the Windmill Hill Big Local, and we decided to run that again as a second, like a sequel almost. So we've got kids from all over Runcorn doing that now, currently on a Friday night, so it's just whatever we can do to get us through this time and create and connect together. I think that's our kind of motto at the moment, just staying connected, really.
Definitely. I think it's such a positive positive message that you're sending across there. I think what's really nice is we are part of Cultivate Halton, which is a partnership of different creative organisations from Halton which have come together in the studio where we are now, are a big part of it, and
fantastic,
and the library who were here this morning as well are part of it. And what's really nice is there are so many different ways from Halton, from young people from Halton, to get creative, whether you're interested in performances or music, or being potentially behind the scenes here at the studio and with the library, everything that they're doing. There's so many different creative ways that people can get in touch. I think now's a pretty good time actually though. Let's plug your social media. So we have, I'm going to test Ian now. So we've got your Facebook, which I believe is A Place for Us CIC. And we have your Twitter, which again, Twitter's different. It's a place for us too. Yeah. Yes, there we go. And Instagram, which is again A Place for Us CIC. I think. Well done, Ian. That was quick.
Thanks, Ian.
That was very good there. Yeah, getting that up as we were going. So if you are wanting to find out more about any of the upcoming projects or activities, is social media the best place for people to go to tune into there? Yeah. As I say, I'm a follower. It's great to see all the different bits and bobs that are coming up and ways for you to get in. So as well as the kind of regular things that you've got going, I've got a notice here that you're going to be working with Norton Priory on a project. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, as you said, the partnerships within our Cultivate LSEP team, like yourselves, our partnerships with you and our partnerships with Norton Priory have got very strong, which is amazing. And we're developing an outdoor theatre space there with them currently, which is so exciting. So our first project with them this summer is a production of Macbeth. Can I say that in here and not be struck down? And with professionals and with younger adult actors who are going into the profession, so like 16 to 18-year-olds who are maybe kicking around a bit, waiting to go off to uni or drama school or whatever. So we're doing that in the outdoor woodland theatre space in May. That's
brilliant. So you've got that kind of a pathway there for young people that are interested, so they come and join some of the clubs that are younger, and then they've got that ability not just to kind of have the youth clubs, but to go out and get experience in professional projects as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's just, for us, it's been a key part of how we've set the Performing Arts CIC up. It's so important. There's so much amazing talent, like you say, to do with all sorts of creative arts across Runcorn, but particularly in the performing arts. There are so many great students. We work a lot with the Cronton Sixth Form and Matt Plant up there. And do amazing things. And what we want to be saying is, look, get involved, get this extra experience, come and work with professionals, because when you go off, when you start your career, think about then coming back and working here and coming back to here, rather than there just being a drain out of the amazing talent that there is in Halton. Let's nurture it, let's develop it, and then come back, come and work with us. And we've got some big long-term plans for the outdoor theatre space at Norton, and keep looking out on social media for more information about that. But it's, really, really exciting times.
Brilliant. Well, while we're talking about Norton, I'm going to segue a little bit. We have also received a fantastic sculpture workshop from the Blue Rooms at Norton Priory, which we are going to be putting out on demand. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you very much for the Blue Rooms for sending that in. And just while we were talking about Norton Priory, I'm going to make sure
it's just such a beautiful place, isn't it? Norton Priory. More people definitely need to see it if they never have already. But it's magical. We performed there at Christmas, and we keep, every time you go back, you just want to go back more, I think. So
definitely.
Yeah. And I think you're right. It's these partnerships that have really, really actually blossomed during lockdown, because we've all had to reach out. And I really love the creative community that we've kind of got going on now across Halton. It's brilliant to have so many passionate people involved.
Yeah. I think that's where our strength's going to be moving on as well, coming out of COVID. Partnerships are going to be the way forward. I firmly believe creative partnerships are the way forward, and I don't believe anyone is going to be able to do anything completely on their own, I think.
I completely agree. It feels like a completely different place, Halton, from when we started, 10 years ago, and it's great that it is so positive. And we've got so many creative organisations, like you say, willing to work together. Moving back to, I guess, your professional shows that are coming up, we've got West Side Story, is that right?
We've got West Side Story in the autumn at the Brindley. Now, that's been delayed twice now because of COVID, and God bless the students. They've got such resilience and grit and determination. We're having to recast some of the parts actually, so that's a shout out to anybody who wants to audition for those some of those parts, because some people are going off to uni and whatnot, so we're going to have to recast some of that. That's going out soon, that announcement. That's at the Brindley in October. Fantastic. A big production with a 19-piece orchestra.
Wow.
And Chris is MD in, which is amazing, and I'm directing that. And then in June, we've got a very exciting project that we're not really allowed to talk about at the moment, but I'll just say it's a Shakespeare, and it's got 80s music right the way through it, and we're calling it Electric Dreams. So look out for that announcement very soon, but that's going to be a really big, fun celebration summer extravaganza.
Wow.
And again, as with all of these, we're looking for students to kind of come and be part of this, the opportunity to work along those professionals, whether it's professional musicians, professional actors. So, you know, just another completely and utterly shameless plug. You know, please do come. You know, if you're interested, come and get in touch.
It's fantastic, though. The people who've reached out to us and we've reached out to them. I mean, we've managed to get 2 West End stars involved in this show. And it's pretty special. And I think again, that's what COVID has done. It's brought the creative community together and said, let's see what we can do and let's see how we can help each other. So it's amazing.
That's brilliant. I mean, that sounds amazing. As we said earlier, please get in touch. Facebook, Twitter, your website as well. I believe we've got something queued up for that, have we, Ian?
Yeah,
so
the website's been updated, so it's mostly social media at the minute.
Yeah. But so social media, get in touch. If you're interested, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to go through everything that's suitable. If you just let them know what your age is, what you're interested in, and yeah, I'm sure you'll get back in touch with them.
Thanks, Sean. That's brilliant.
No problem. So we have going to be joined today by one of your, what do you call them, a tutor, or what's your kind of go-to?
She's one of our colleagues for many years. She's been one of our colleagues, and we call them magic weavers in our which is what they are. But yes, she teaches singing and music at our academy on a Saturday. She's been involved in many productions in the past, and luckily she's back with us just for a little while until her rock career takes off again, which I'm sure it will do in the autumn. I think she's got tours planned, so we've got that window of opportunity back with Natalie again.
I was going to say we've not actually even introduced her there, but it's going to be Natalie McCool, who I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of from various places and things, that was music that she's produced over the years, and she is going to be doing a songwriting masterclass with us. Just before we jump over to Natalie, we've got her on the phone today, so we're going to see if our technical wizardry can stretch that far, and we can pick her up. We're just going to have a listen to the music video Pins, which is the song that we're going to deconstruct and recreate now. So yeah, if we play that VT in, let's have a quick listen to Pins before we get Natalie on the phone.
Right. I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. You're stuck like a splinter in my finger. You know how much damage there is to be done, and so I have to take a hard needle to get in there, 'cause you prick and chip away just for sometimes I think we're like the tortoise and the hare, and I just followed the trail you tread like a thread. And we wove in and we wove out of each other, so close I couldn't see the patterns, but I could feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. I know there's still an aching, the stitches that were sewn. It came on like a white hot shark, and I know it's the end. I don't wanna play or pretend. I'll fall to my I know what it feels like to have cracks in the surface. I know what it feels like to be dragged through the dirt. Yeah, I know what that feels like. And I could feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. I know they're still aching, the stitches that were sewn. It came on like a white hot shock, and I know it's deep. I don't wanna play or pretend, pretend, pretend. I know there's still aching, the stitches that were sewn.
Hey, that was absolutely brilliant. So fantastic to see Pins by Natalie, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if the technology is working, we'll be able to speak to Natalie directly on the phone. Hey, Natalie, can you hear me okay?
Hey, you okay?
Awesome. Oh, I can't tell you how much headaches was take to get this together today.
Hold on.
Lovely to see you. Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself for anyone that might not have heard of you before? What do you do?
I'm a singer, songwriter, and guitarist. I was born in Widnes. I grew up in Widnes. I've been doing music for quite a while now. I went to LIPA, Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, and I did music there, specifically guitar. So guitar's like my main instrument, but I also sing. And yeah, I teach singing for a place for us.
Fantastic.
Which is very exciting and always great to work with, and also make music, lots of music.
I first heard of you quite a few years ago now, because what's really nice is from being from local, seeing you going out and about and making music that's played on BBC, on radio, on all sorts of different things, but always being very strong and vocal about being from Halton and talking about that and things. And so it's great to have professional creative from the local area being proud of where they are and celebrating that and going out and doing it. So we're going to be watching one of your videos today. Pin's watching you deconstruct that and do all the music, looking at how you made that song. I can't wait to kind of get involved in it and get started at it. Just before we do, you've actually got a single coming out soon, is that correct? Very shortly.
I have, yeah, next Wednesday.
Wow.
24th. Woohoo!
What's the new single called?
It's called A Sun Going Down.
Fantastic.
And it's quite funny because it's coming out in 2021 when we all want to forget 2020. It's kind of like the sun going down, bye. So it's kind of about moving forward alone without something or someone.
Cool, very exciting. Make sure you get on that and download it and pre-order if you can and do everything that you need to do. So, Natalie, could you introduce this first video for us?
Yeah, sure. So this is me deconstructing the song that you just heard called Pins, which is one of my singles from my last album. And I'm just deconstructing the melody and the chords and structure and the kind of time signature. So all music theory stuff, but in a fun way. So you won't get bored, don't worry. And yeah, excited to answer questions afterwards. Hope you guys enjoy it.
That's a great point. If you have any questions, get them in the chat function and we'll put them to Natalie. We're going to have a break about halfway through this video, so we'll put them questions to Natalie. So if you've got any questions about songwriting or a career, just get them in the chat function and we'll ask them. Cool. All right, roll this VT in.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm part of the Sing City team at Brighter Sound. I'm a singer, songwriter and guitarist. and I'm doing a series on songwriting, and this is the second video. So last video, I spoke about 3 techniques to use to get more interesting and engaging lyrics. So I hope you've all been writing away and using those techniques and getting some really interesting stuff. And today I'm going to go through actually deconstructing a song. Okay, and it's one of my own songs. It's called Pins. It's from my last album. It was a single. It's being played on Radio 1. I've played it live for BBC Introducing. It's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. You can find it on all streaming platforms, so it's out there. Okay, so we're going to deconstruct this song. So we're going to look at concept, characters, themes, imagery, metaphors, structure, melody, harmony, rhythm. So we're going to go through all of that. First things first, when we write a song, what do we write about? So concept is a big thing, and the concept of a song is basically the story of the song or the message of the song. Okay, so you might be sat at home, you might be a singer who writes a lot of lyrics, constantly writing in notebooks, or you might be an instrumentalist who would like to get more tips on actual lyric writing and writing songs. Okay, so if either of that, this is for you. Okay, so Pins, the concept of the song is breakdown of a relationship and there's nothing that you can do. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's what it's about. So when you think about the concept of your song, you should be able to explain it in one sentence. And I find that to be a really useful tip. It's about this, a relationship breakdown, and there's nothing you can do. Okay, so that's quite a useful thing when thinking about your concept and the message, because really people have got to listen to it and connect with it. So if it's a very, very clear concept, then that would be easy for them to do. So a relationship breakdown, that's a story that I want to tell. Last time I spoke about characters, writing as a character or writing about a character. So in this case, the character in the song is me, and I'm telling my own story. It's about a personal experience. But as I spoke about last time, you can write about anything or anyone you want. You know, it doesn't have to be yourself. It can be someone you know or someone you don't know or a completely fictional made up character. But in this case, it's very personal. Okay, so I would like to play a bit of the song to you, having spoken about it so far. Here, I'm using BandLab. As you can see, it's a really great online piece of music software that allows you to record directly into it, and you can mix, you can share it with other people, you can export the tracks, you can export the song. It's a really great collaborative piece of software. And I know that our project leader, Phil, from Sing City, has done a really great masterclass around BandLab online, so you should check that out. Okay, so I'm going to play you. I'm going to go from the top, actually.
I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. You're stuck like a splinter in my finger. You know how much damage there is to be done. And so I have to take a hot needle to get in there. 'Cause you prick and chip away just for fun. Sometimes I think we're like the tortoise and the hare, and I just followed the trail you tread like a thread. And we wove in and we wove out of each other, so close I couldn't see the patterns, but I could feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. I know there's still an aching, the stitches that were sewn. It came on like a white hot shark, and I know it's the end. I don't wanna play your pretend, pretend, pretend.
Okay, so So that's a bit of the song. That was a verse and a chorus. So now you know what kind of thing it is. Okay, so first step in deconstructing this song. So I've spoken about concept and how that's a really important thing to start with. And last time in my last video, one of the techniques that I spoke about was using everyday phrases and everyday conversations. So this lyric here, the first line of the chorus is, I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. Okay, so that is actually a really well-known everyday phrase, that's, you've made your bed, now go and lie in it. So that's the phrase, and basically that means you have created your own situation and now you have to deal with it, which is a very brutal phrase, but it's quite fitting because here what I'm talking about is the relationship is breaking down and there's nothing that you can do about it and you have to deal with it. So for me, that was a really fitting phrase to kind of twist and make my own in a way. And that's really important to make it personal to yourself and what you want to write about. So I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so we've got, I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. So you've got the kind of everyday phrase, you've made your bed, now go and lie in it. And there's also another phrase that springs to my mind is a bed of nails, which is a really well-known phrase as well, which means like a very uncomfortable situation that you have to deal with, which is a similar kind of idiom, really. So here we're talking about a relationship that's conflicted, something is not right. So we've got the concept and we've got the use of the everyday phrase, and there's something else that we can introduce into our songwriting that engages the listener further, and that is imagery, metaphors, and themes. So straight away, the imagery we've got here is this idea of the pins in the lining of the bed. So you've got pins and bed. Now, the idea of a bed is a place where you're at your most comfortable. It's kind of a blissful place. It's actually where you're at your most vulnerable as well. So you've got this really comfortable personal space, and then you've got the idea of there's pins in the lining of it. Okay, so imagine a bed of nails. That's the kind of image that the song is given to you. Okay, so the bed, I guess, would be the relationship. It's meant to be a blissful thing and a comfortable thing, but here we've got this horrible image of pins, like digging in, getting under your skin. So straight away that's conflict. You know, something is not right in this comfortable place. It's uncomfortable. Why is it uncomfortable? Okay, so you got, I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed. And then you've got we made. The we introduces the idea of there's somebody else here. You can feel something, and then there's another person in the kind of story as well. And whether they can feel it, we don't know yet. Okay, so moving on to the next line, I'll just play this chorus.
So close I couldn't see the pattern,
So we've got the first line here.
but I could feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. I know there's still an ache in the stitches that were sewn.
So you've got pins lying in bed. Two images straight away in that chorus. And then you've got, I know there's still an ache in the stitches that were sewn. So strong imagery here, and it's carrying through your chorus, which ideally, if you've got a concept of a song, you want to use imagery and themes to kind of reinforce what your message is. Okay, so here, speaking about imagery and themes, I've got this kind of image of a very comfortable place being very uncomfortable. Okay, and we've got pins, and I've carried on this kind of pins, needles, stitching kind of concept here. So I know there's still an ache in the stitches that were sewn. So now we're seeing that the word stitches makes us think that it's been mended, or you've tried to mend it. Okay, And again, you've got the I can feel and I know. Okay, so first person, one person kind of understands what's happening, and then you've again got this other person in the we, and whether they know, we don't know yet. So, third line.
It came on like a white hot shark, and I know it's the end. I don't wanna play your pretend, pretend, pretend.
So it came on like a white hot shock, and I know it's the end. I don't want to play your pretend, pretend, pretend. Another thing that is great to think about when you're kind of thinking about your concept of the song and what the song is about and the message of the song, if you're struggling in getting it across clearly, it's a great tip to write that sentence down, the concept in one sentence, and actually include it as a lyric, because you'd be surprised at how effective that is and actually how good it sounds. And here, I've done that here because I've put, I know it's the end. You know something is the end and there's nothing you can do because you've tried to mend it with the stitches, but to no avail, okay? So that's a really useful tip. It really works because it's very direct and it engages people. Okay, so there's our chorus. So we've got a concept, we've got character, we've got the story, and we've introduced our images, themes, metaphors. Okay, and all of this imagery here, like the bed, pins, line, and stitches, what it does is it paints a very vivid picture for the listener. So you're not just telling them what's going on, you're actually showing them. And this particular imagery is quite uncomfortable. If you can make it as kind of interesting and kind of personal as you can, it really does engage people, and as clear as you can as well, because people obviously connect with that if they understand what you're trying to share with them. Okay, so now that we've gone through our kind of concept, images, themes, metaphors, I would like to show you how I reflected this very uncomfortable concept and story in the music as well. And this is particularly interesting for if you are a very lyrics-based writer and you're thinking about how to put some of the song into the music as well. And it's surprisingly, it's simple. There's just a few little things that you should think about, or that would be good for you to think about. Okay, so going back to BandLab here. Okay, so firstly, we're going to look at chords. So a little trick that I really like to use sometimes within my own songwriting, so this is personal to me, so it might be different for you, but it's a good little trick. To create tension, I like to kind of hover on one chord. I just like the way it sounds, and particularly in this song with what I'm trying to say, the music reflects this uncomfortable situation within the song. Okay, so I'm going to show you where that is. So coming out of the chorus here. Okay. Okay, so we've got this chorus, which is 4 chords, and then we're kind of hanging on just one chord at the end, and I'm going to solo keys part for you there. As you can hear, it just kind of hovers on this one chord after the chorus for 4 bars, and that just creates this kind of, you're waiting for it to get into that second verse, and it's like, well, when is it going to go in? So it creates this kind of waiting and this tension within the music. Okay, so that's the chorus outro, and I also do it in the bridge as well. So I hover on that one. It's actually a different chord, but same trick. I hover on one chord for quite a while, and you're waiting for it to go somewhere else. So I'll just play that for you now. So this is coming out the second chord. I'll just solo some stuff for you here. Okay, so there's guitar and keys just doing one chord.
I know what it feels like to be dragged through the dirt. Yeah. I know
So
what that
waiting,
feels like.
wait for it to change,
And I could feel the pins
finally here it changes. Okay, so the bass line is moving now.
I know this
Okay, so as you probably felt that there, it's kind of like a very unsettling hovering again on that one chord, and obviously, yes, it creates tension. It's a really good trick. So next thing we're going to look at on our list is melody. This song is actually uses a lot of jazz influences in the kind of melody and the way I'm singing, which sounds quite interesting because it's an electronic pop song. It's kind of got a bit of a jazzy harmony as well, but I'm going to show you a melody that I do, and this is in the chorus outro. So this is where I hover on that one chord to create the tension, and what I do here is I'm singing a quite strange little melody. So I'm just going to solo that for you now. As you can probably hear, what I'm singing is da 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 dum, da da dum, da 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 dum, da da dum. Okay, so the da 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 is actually when you think about the scale of the song. Okay, so da 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 da. So the da is the one, and I'm landing on the ninth, which is the da 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 da. And so you've got that da 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 da. Using a ninth in that sense, with a melody, it's quite a mysterious interval, and again, kind of creates that quite unsettling feeling because it's quite an odd landing note. So you've got that quite unsettling kind of vibe going on there as well. And I also repeat this in the first line of the chorus, which is, I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. So you've got that da 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 again, okay? So that, even something so simple as one note in a melody, you can do a lot with that, and you can create a certain feeling within the melody that you're singing, not just your words, your melody as well. So we've heard concept characters, themes, imagery, metaphors, chords and melody so far. Okay, so in my next video, I'm going to talk about harmony, structure, rhythm, and we're going to finish off deconstructing this song. Okay, so please check out the second video in this series. So I'll see you shortly.
Okay, that was awesome. We're going to have the second video very soon, but just before we do, we've had a few questions through, so I think if we go over to Paul now, he's going to ask some of these questions to Natalie, who hopefully will be able to get to the bottom of these questions that are coming through YouTube. Oh.
Both. We've got two questions come through on Facebook, and we have a question come through on YouTube. So I'll go to one of the questions on Facebook first. So, and it was to Natalie, and it says, do you prefer to add effects in the mix before the track is inputted?
Ooh, depends what kind of effects and what instrument. Generally, when I write songs, I do write on guitar a lot of the time. So I guess that, the guitar pedals I'm using maybe influence the song and the final effects that I put on when I'm actually recording it or tracking it. But I guess that for kind of to have like ultimate control, I think effects probably should be put on in the mixing stage, because you can just, for instance, like delays and things like that, you can control them a lot better. And if it's analog, if it's being done at the instrument as you're recording at source, it's kind of harder to change anything when you're at mixing stage. So for ease, I think at mixing, but there's some really cool analog effects out there that and I'm sure in like classic songs like from the 80s, like they didn't have digital effects, they didn't have any of that, and they still made amazing innovative sounds. So either or, like whichever inspires you the most, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes complete sense. So a bit of both. So Paul, what else? What other questions did we have?
So we had a question from YouTube, and the question was, when did you start singing?
Started singing after I started playing guitar. So I don't know, I remember like being in school choirs and things, but I didn't really consider myself a singer. So I was guitarist first, and then maybe I was about 14 and started writing songs and becoming interested in singing. And I started my own band, and then I was away from then on. But I still don't really, it's quite strange because I still don't really consider myself a singer as such. I'm more instrumentalist, songwriter. It's all in there together. So I guess that's just kind of like a self-confidence thing. Yeah.
She's very modest.
Yeah.
Very modest, darling.
We definitely consider you a singer, as well as an instrumentalist, of
She
course.
definitely is.
Paul, we get one more question, did you say?
Yeah, we've got one more question, and this one's from Facebook again. Did you start with the music or the beat, or do you have a lyric/concept before you start on the melody?
Anyway, every way and any way, usually. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, you get this question quite a lot, and it's kind of like, well, it's whatever inspires you. So whether that's like lyrics first, or whether you've heard a melody in your head, or like, actually the weirdest inspiration for a song I've ever had was guitar feedback from a video that my mum was playing on the internet downstairs. And I was like, oh, that's actually in a chord sequence, like. And then I wrote, it might have been pins. It may have been pins. I can't even remember. But it all influences each other. Like, anything can influence you, and it's just getting out of that mindset of like, no, I have to write guitar chords first, or I have to write it on piano first. No, actually, that's not true. Anything inspires you, whether it's a story or a person or something you've heard. Like everyday conversations inspire me quite a lot, because a lot of the time someone will say something that really resonates with you, and then that's kind of like a concept in itself, and everything stems from there. But I've certainly done, last album was written on beats and bass lines, but then I write a lot on guitar as well. So it's just everything.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Natalie. And we also, as well, we got a question for A Place For Us, didn't we, for Kate and Chris that came through then, Paul?
Yes, we had a question, I think this was on Facebook as well. No, it was YouTube actually, sorry. It was on YouTube, and it was, when did you get established? When did you establish?
We established in January 2020, which wasn't great timing-wise. But we also... We basically came together from many years of experience with other organisations, so we kind of blended our organisations. We used to run the Lipper 419 Academy in Halton, and Chris had a music service, HWMSS in Halton, and we kind of merged our two concepts together, if you like.
It always seemed like kind of the practical next step,
Yeah.
or you didn't it, to start working together on a performing arts organisation, rather than just kind of doing things.
Rather than just an
separately.
academy or just a music service, we wanted to kind of make it a bit bigger and more and be able to apply for funding and be able to offer it up to more people to kind of join and be part of.
That's awesome. All right, so we're just going to come back to Natalie. Natalie, could you introduce the second half of this video?
Yes, so this is the second half of deconstructed pins. And here I'm going to look at structure, time signature, and rhythms. So, yeah.
Awesome. Just before we play that video, if anyone's got any more questions for A Place for Us or Natalie McCool, please get them in and we'll go through them once we finish off this video. Awesome. Ian, play that VT.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Natalie from the Sing City team at Brighter Sound. This is the second video in my series on deconstructing songwriting. So in the first video we looked at concept, characters, themes, metaphors, imagery, everyday phrases and chords and melody. And in this next video, we're going to look at harmony, rhythm, time signature, and structure. Okay, so starting with harmony. I'm going to share my screen with you again. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to move on to harmony. And so I've reflected the concept of the song in the melody and the chords so far. I'm going to play you the instrumental section in the song, which happens right before the bridge. Okay, so you gotta... and into the bridge there. Okay, so as you can hear, there's a strange little gnarly guitar line here that's happening. So you've got the da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. So you've got that ninth going on there. And you've also got this. So you've got the guitar's going da-da-da, da-da. So the guitar line, it's actually, the harmony of that is going against the scale of the song. So the scale is just a straight up minor, C minor, da 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 da. But the guitar's doing a harmonic minor, so it's going da 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 da. So it's kind of clashy, and that very short semitone interval between the two notes is great for creating tension as well. And I don't know whether you know, but it's actually in Jaws. Okay, so and that's a really well-known theme tune for being very kind of tense, and it's just a great interval to use for tension. Okay, so that kind of harmonic shift there is again creating this unsettling feeling. And also what you've got happening there is that guitar line that's going da 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 da, and I've got my vocals going over it with the ninth. Da, 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 da. So you got da 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 da, which is kind of an odd interval as well, and I'll just solo them for you now. Da 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 da. Okay, so you've got a lot going on there harmonically, and it's all creating this quite dissonant, chromatic, unsettling, tense feeling, which is exactly what I wanted, because that's what the song is trying to share with the listener. Okay, so reflecting that in the music as well, changing the scale, switching up the actual scale, or putting in, you know, a flat note or a natural note. You know, there's many different ways you can do that, and it's just a really interesting little trick. Okay, so hanging on this section, we've also got another thing that's going on here as well, so it's quite a lot to take in. I know it says 4/4 here, so the song is in 4/4, but in this section, the time signature actually changes and drops a beat, so we go into 3/4 here. I'll play that for you now. So going from the end of the chorus
I don't wanna play
1,
your
2,
pretend,
3, 4.
pretend,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still in 4, 4 here. 3, 4. Going into 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're back in at 4, 4 for the last bar. Okay, so you're dropping a beat, and that feels very strange because, you know, when you're kind of thinking about people who listen to music, quite a lot of people aren't musicians. So when something like this happens, it's quite a subtle shift. When you change in time signature, for example, they wouldn't necessarily know what that was, but they can hear that something is different and something's not quite comfortable anymore, because 4/4 is quite comfortable. You might not be paying that much attention if it's on the radio or if you're just whacking it on a Spotify playlist or whatever. But when something like that changes a time signature, it immediately makes people listen, because they're like, whoa, what's happening here? Something's different. It's quite unsettling. So while they don't necessarily know what it is, you're still instilling that feeling of, you know, discomfort in someone, because you've subtly changed something. And dropping a beat is very good for that, or, you know, adding a beat, because it kind of, it's jolting, it's unsettling. And I'm just gonna solo the drums for you here, so you can really hear what's going on there. So from the chorus, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're into the bridge. So that's a good example of how using rhythm and time signature can reflect what you are speaking about in your song as well. And it's a really good trick, and it's a really subtle trick as well. Okay, so the final thing that I want to talk to you about in deconstructing this song is structure. Okay, so when I talk about structure, I don't mean just intro, verse, chorus, bridge. Structure to me as a writer means just the placement of things. So that could be a guitar part, or it could be a particular lyric. So structure for me encompasses all of that. It's not just about sections. Okay, so when I speak about structure, that's what I mean. So here, structurally speaking, in the chorus here, we've got these images. So coming back to the imagery here. So we've got pins, bed, stitches, sewn. So you've got that kind of pins, needles, fabric idea. And I'm going to just play you the first verse, okay? Which is here.
You're stuck like a splinter in my finger. You know how much damage there is to be done. And so I have to take a hot needle to get in there. 'Cause you prick and chip away just for fun.
Okay, stop there. So straight away, we're introducing, because this is the first time you're hearing about it, so we're introducing this kind of imagery of pins, needles, stitches, fabric. We're introducing it here. So I'm introducing these themes that are going to kind of wind through the song. So we've got splinter in my finger. That kind of goes with the idea of pins being in the bed lining, so something digging into you that's uncomfortable. Okay, and then we've got the hot needle, you know, to get the splinter out. And then we've got this prick and chip away just for fun, like if a needle pricks your skin. So I've got all this imagery going on, okay? And then the next couple of lines.
Sometimes I think we're like the tortoise and the hare, and I just followed the trail you tread like a thread. And we wove in and we wove out of each other, so close I couldn't see the patterns.
Okay, so in this next section, we've got all of that as well. So we've got just followed the trail you tread like a thread, the fabric, pins, needles, and we've got wove in and wove out of each other, and patterns as well. So all of these images are just continuing throughout, and they are painting a picture of my own story. It's not just words, it's giving the listener an image. And that's really important, because words are words, but if you can paint a really kind of colourful picture of what your message is, then that's even better. Okay, so that's imagery. And now I'm going to speak about character a little bit here, because this song is in the first and second person. Okay, so we've got lots of you, I, you. That kind of creates, thinking about if it's a relationship, the idea of two people, but they're separate. That kind of creates a separation there. So they're not really, they're not working together. So using first and second person in this way, lots of yous and I's, it's a very direct way of writing. So if you have a really strong message that you want to send out and you want to be very direct about it, it's a great kind of way to write in first and second, because, you know, saying you straight away, you've stuck like a splinter in my finger, that is really engaging and direct straight away, and it's just a really kind of direct way of writing. And also the kind of directness of the you and the I, and the kind of separation that gives the listener the idea of, it's continued here. So sometimes I think we're like the tortoise and the hare, and now, as we all know, the tortoise and the hare are in the same story, like the two characters in the song, but they're completely different. They're completely at odds with one another, going at different speeds on a completely different path. And that's really kind of telling as well, the fact I've introduced this image of a tortoise and hare, and that kind of goes with the idea of the you and the I, separation, conflict, not seeing eye to eye. So it just introduces all of these feelings very early on. Structurally as well, I'm just going to play the intro of the song.
I can feel the pins in the lining of the bird we made. You still.
Okay, interesting intro. It's actually just the first line of the chorus. Okay, I can feel the pins in the lining of the bed we made. So that is a little trick that I do quite a lot in my songwriting, I must admit, but I like it because it just grabs listener straight away. I think it's a really direct way of starting a song, you know, giving someone the chorus straight away. Whether it be a full chorus or whether it be just a bit of the chorus, it's a really good technique because it engages straight away. And also, I like starting with the chorus because it's the kind of repetition that they're hearing later on. Repetition's important in songs because it reinforces your message. So you've introduced a tiny little bit of the main bit of the song, and then when they hear it for the first time, which is the first chorus, they're already familiar with this chorus because you've given them a tiny little bit without kind of being overly obvious. So it's a really good little trick for just creating that familiarity in the listener, which is what you want. Okay, and finally, on the subject of structure, the important thing to remember about songwriting is just make it your own. You know, rules are there to be broken. You don't have to follow a particular structure or a particular rhythm or time signature or harmony or scale. You can do literally whatever you want, whatever you think is interesting. Here, I haven't even done a proper intro. I've just taken the first line of the chorus and put it in the start because I wanted to, because I think that sounds good and that's what I like. Here as well, I actually don't have a pre-chorus. This is the end of the verse, and
But I can feel the pins in.
Straight into the chorus. There's no pre-chorus at any point in the song. That just demonstrates that you can actually do whatever you want as long as it sounds good to you. Anything goes. when you're writing songs. What I encourage with my own writing, and I guess what I want to say to you today, is that you should just try everything and experiment with different time signatures, different structures, just really, really mix it up. And you know, it's your own song. You can do whatever you want with it. And that's really important. It should be personal to you. So, the song's called Pins. My artist name's Natalie McCool. You can listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, any streaming platform. It's out there if you want to hear the full thing. And I have really enjoyed this how-to today on deconstructing a song. I hope you have too, and I hope you're going to go away and use all of these techniques in your own writing and have loads of fun. I'm Natalie. I'm part of the Sing City team at Brighter Sound, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Cool. That was absolutely brilliant. Well done, Natalie. Thanks so much for putting that together for us. A brilliant example of deconstructing and showing how everything goes together to write a song. We got loads and loads and loads of questions through, so we're just going to pick a couple to have a chat to you about before moving on. So, Paul, do you have one lined up there?
Yeah, straight away, one lined up, straight away, ready to go. And it's from Sarah on Facebook saying, who do you consider your greatest musical influence, and can you see their influence within your music?
Oh yeah, my two all-time oldie faves are PJ Harvey and Jeff Buckley, and I can probably hear it. I mean, I'm just not I'm completely inside my own music, so can't really hear things that other people can like that, but can definitely hear some influences in the music. Like, you know, PJ Harvey's quite. She's a very witty writer, and she plays a lot. She's a lot of wordplay and discussing like genders and kind of just really interesting writer. And I think I like to embody that a lot in what I do. That's inspired me a lot. And then Jeff Buckley's vocals and guitar playing are just incredible, and definitely inspired some of my guitar playing. So yeah.
That's awesome. I remember the first time I saw PJ Harvey, I just stumbled across them at Glastonbury one day, just kind of walking around, and was one of those acts where I'd not heard them before, but just was truly kind of like in awe and just stopped and watched the whole set when I saw them.
She's a force.
It was really cool. Paul, any other questions?
Yeah, we've got another one on Facebook from Jade, and it says, do you write the drum beats yourself? And if you do, what do you use? What software, hardware? Is it a sampler, that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. On that album, that song and that album, I used GarageBand loops a lot. Which, you know, GarageBand's like a free program on if you've got a MacBook. So, you know, all the loops are there, and there's loads of loops online. And I just kind of, I guess the rhythms inspired the writing a lot on that album. So I started with loops and beats and wrote the bass line, synth bass, and then that inspired pretty much all of the songs, I would say. But you know, every album's different. But yeah, that one was very like beat based, and I do find that rhythm actually does give me a lot. It gives me a lot when it comes to writing the rest of it. So yes.
That's awesome. I love working with loops as well. It's such a great way of kind of be able to construct a song. One more question I reckon we've got time for there, Paul.
Yeah, we'll go over to YouTube, and this one's from Learning Lab on YouTube, and they ask, how did you get this as a career? How did you make songwriting a career?
Just did it. Sorry, no, that's not a rubbish question. That's a great question, but literally just did it. Yeah, that's what you got to do, isn't it? If you're interested in something, just do it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to find within yourself and within other people and within different locations or scenes. I would just recommend practicing as much as possible and try and connecting with people who are like-minded and collaborating, And yeah, just do it. There's no like direct route or one particular route, is there, for anything? If you think about your life, like how you got here is completely personal to you, and it's that way for everyone, and it's that way with careers a lot of the time, especially self-made careers. Like for a lot of creative careers, you've just got to go and do it and learn it and practice it and develop it and collaborate and all of that. So I would recommend just get out there.
I think Natalie makes a really, really great point there. The more stuff you do, the more connections you make, the more experiences you have, the more likely it is that it's going to happen for you.
I definitely agree with that. Out of all the creative people that I always speak to, they always have that can do, go to, just get out there and do it attitude and try stuff, and very punk and rock and roll style of doing things, but go out there, do it, learn from your experiences and grow and keep going. You
kind of find that you carve out your own place, and you've got to carve that out, because otherwise there won't be a space for you if you don't occupy one.
Oh, that's
wow. That's a quote right there.
It is about she's right though. We talk about finding your talent. Ken Robinson, one of the educational creative gurus, he talks about finding your element, and I really believe that. Just find your element and do it.
We got loads of other questions there through for Natalie, so what we're going to do is we're going to send Natalie the links to these, so we're going to, hopefully she'll be able to answer a couple of them in there as well. So if you've not had your question answered during the stream, we're going to, hopefully Natalie will be able to give you a quick answer on a couple of the chats through that as well. So thanks so much for joining us today, Natalie. It's been absolutely brilliant to learn from you and to get you to answer some of these questions. Just cheers for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Nat.
I think that's very unassuming. She's absolutely amazing. She's an epic talent, and I think it's great to see somebody from the local area going away, honing their skills, and then coming back to the area and supporting everything. We are genuinely, I think, really lucky to be working with Natalie.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's an amazing part of our team, and an amazing inspiration to young people.
Thanks, guys.
You just remind me as well, before we go, we've got to make sure we give Natalie a good plug, as well as the single that's coming up. You've also got an album that's coming out, is that correct?
Yes, in July. It's going to be out in... Yes.
Fantastic. And people can pre-order it, is that correct?
Yeah, so we're getting, first time ever getting vinyls done for the album, which is so exciting. But we've done a special pre-order campaign, like early pre-order, that's like supporting the manufacturing costs of the vinyl and the merch and the CDs and all that. So you can pre-order it now, which is exciting.
Awesome. So we've got the link for that to be able to pre-order it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Paul to put it in the chats and the description so that you can get on that and see it. I think Paul's got it up there on his screen there, so we can see it. Lovely.
There you go. My terrible face.
Mine is so cool though.
Gorgeous.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks again, Natalie. That's brilliant. Thanks again. So, as well as that, we also got some questions for A Place for Us as well. So, Paul, I'm going to get you to do some screen juggling now and see if you can
now that I've moved everything around, try and find the...
Get you to bring up the questions for A Place to Us.
Yes, for A Place for Us, your question was, what's the best way to get involved with you guys, to do any of your workshops or go and see any of your events that are coming up and all that kind of thing?
On social media, first and foremost, on our Instagram or Facebook pages, we're always posting up there what we're doing and what's coming up next, and kind of how to get involved in those events. And just drop us an email if you want to enquiries@placeforus.org.uk.
That's it. Yeah. There's so many new things happening, so it's well worth kind of making those connections with the social media and just keeping up to date, because things for us are moving quite quickly at the moment, aren't they? With lots of new opportunities, and we want to work with as many young people as possible. So
And particularly older young people as well, you know, who maybe are finding it quite tough at the moment, not knowing where they sit with exams, with things like GCSEs and A-levels, and that they might be kicking around towards the end of the summer, waiting to go to college or waiting to go to uni or whatever. And if they want something creative to do, then they should look at our social media, because we've got some opportunities coming up that they might want to get involved in.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, again, just like we said to Natalie, thank you so much for coming on and spending the day with us. Let's give those social media one more plug. So we have a Facebook one, which was at A Place For Us CIC. The Instagram one, which is the same, I believe, A Place For Us CIC, and Twitter, which was Place For Us 2. That's my test for the done. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you again. Brilliant to have you here, and brilliant to hear from Natalie and see the awesome work you're doing. Yeah,
thank you for having us.
You've done an amazing job here. The behind the scenes stuff that's happening is just absolutely amazing. So
such a pro
guys,
team.
It's incredible.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, that's it from us for today. Don't forget that we have streams going throughout the rest of the week. So until Friday, 2 streams a day. 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. You can register for them on Facebook. You can register them on our YouTube channel. You search for Halton MakeFest on there. You can set reminders for them, and we've even got Eventbrite. So however you want to find them, whatever works for you, get on there, get registered, and tune in. Yeah, brilliant. We can't wait to see you all again tomorrow. So from us at Halton MakeFest, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.